No be small matter o. The kind ogbonge update when Dr. Kemi release about Wunmi Imole wife don tear Ikorodu into two. Na wow, no be small thing o. This Wunmi of a wife dey do o. It's just somehow Mohbad could not see everything coming before he took Wunmi as a wife. Make I just drop the audio for now, make it not be saying my mouth dey take hear everything. Justice for Mohbad, justice for Imole.
So Kemi Lawrence lorúkọ mi. Some of you know me as my old name, Kemi Olunloyo. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa case Mohbad ní December 6, 2024. Video tí mo ń ṣe yìí, ẹ sọ fáwọn ọ̀rẹ́ yín tó ń gbọ́ Yorùbá pé mo máa ṣe English version fún video yìí. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ ó direct towards Nigerian Police Force àti Lagos State Government. So tẹ́ bá mọ̀yàn nínú Nigerian Police Force àti Lagos State Government, ẹ jẹ́ kí video yìí viral. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn, ẹ mọ̀ bẹ́ ṣe máa ń post video kiri, ẹ jẹ́ kí video yìí viral. Now, mo ti send video sí CP Lagos State, mo dẹ̀ ti send sí spokesman wọn, mo dẹ̀ ti send sí governor, mo lè tag ẹ̀ lórí page mi sí gbogbo wọn, tó bá wù wọ́n kàn wò, tó bá wù wọ́n kàn ignore ẹ̀. Nígbà tí case Mohbad bẹ̀rẹ̀, on September 12, 2023, ẹnìkan send message sí mi pé Mohbad ó ti kú, ipò jà pẹ̀lú ìyàwó ẹ̀ hours ago, which will be September 11 mọ́jú September 12. Ẹni yẹn sọ nature ìjà yẹn fún mi. Èèyàn púpọ̀ ló wà nílé Mohbad tán rí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ between Mohbad àti Wunmi lórí staircase àti railing àti piece of the railing tí Wunmi ti angrily fi gún Mohbad. Ó tún jáde lọ mú nǹkan kan ó wọlé, gbogbo ẹni CC camera capture. A ti go through case for a year and a half. Débi kankan. Mo ti interview baba Mohbad. Débi kankan. Lagos State Government. Débi kankan pẹ̀lú gbogbo investigation tẹ́lẹ̀ máa ń ṣe. Case bá mi ṣe tí bus driver apáṣì wà ńlẹ̀. Oríṣiríṣi cases ló wà ńlẹ̀ tẹ́ máa promise àwọn victims pé wọ́n máa get justice. Don't get justice. Governor Sanwo-Olu ṣe nǹkan kan fún family Mohbad láti get justice fún Mohbad. Case Mohbad wá di ridicule lórí TikTok. Everybody ṣe TikTok láti gba owó monetization ní London, ní America, everywhere, including Karimo, supposed sister-in-law Mohbad. Many things the Karimo reveal. Èmi nìkan ni the only journalist nínú gbogbo Nigeria tí mo investigate yẹn. $10,200 ni mo fi investigate case Mohbad for a year and a half. Gbogbo owó tèmi pa lórí monetization ní all my 5 platforms. Mo wá mú owó yẹn, mo fi hire àwọn interns lóríṣiríṣi. Àwọn èèyàn tó ń bá mi lọ sí inquest tí máa fún lówó. Àwọn interns mi méjì kan gbé ní Sangotedo. Màá san 25,000 láti fún Uber láti gbé wọn láti Sangotedo lọ sí Korodu fún inquest. Gbogbo transportation, gbogbo filing of stories, everything. Mo spend owó, gbogbo owó tẹ́ kí n fi gbádùn ni mo spend lórí case Mohbad. Mi ò look for break-even points. Nǹkan tí mo look for ni justice. Mi ò activate for Mohbad, mi ṣe part of justice for Mohbad. Journalist lèmi. Many journalists ló lè investigate case Mohbad and they did nothing. Partly because ẹlòmí ò lówó àti resources. And then also partly because ẹ̀rù ń bà àwọn èèyàn. Gbogbo àwọn mainstream journalists kò sí kankan tó ṣe independent investigation. Àwọn tó tiẹ̀ máa ń ṣe investigation, Sahara reporters, Punch sometimes, ẹnìkan kò fọ́kàn case Mohbad. Because àmẹ́ntó wà ń di case Mohbad. Ọba méjì, senators méjì. Tí a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí call wọn out nsìn, ẹ sọ pé arrest wa. Àwọn powerful ọba àtàwọn powerful senators. Wọ́n protect Wunmi Adébánjọ. How many people ló lè tweet nǹkan tí mo tweet? Ní September 15th, gbogbo yín lẹ wá bá mi. Nígbà tí National Drug Law Agency wá bá mi. Wọ́n bi mí ní question nípa nígbà tí wọ́n arrest Wunmi àti gbogbo Malians nínú Malian house. Èmi ní fídíò yẹn. Mo dẹ̀ fún NDLEA, mo help wọn. Because wọ́n ní Mohbad mu drink kan. Tonto Dike àti Ìyábọ̀ náà gbé investigation lọ sí side yẹn. Wọ́n lè distort investigation yẹn gan. Ìgbà tó wà ní rehab nìyẹn now. Ní February of 2022. Nǹkan tá fẹ́ wò sí ni nǹkan tó pa Mohbad. Nígbà tó ń drag NDLEA wọlé, NDLEA kọ final letter, wọ́n clear ara wọn kúrò ńbẹ̀. Because èmi ni mo lọ ṣe interview NDLEA raid pẹ̀lú Cool FM. A dẹ̀ ní clip yẹn. Mo dẹ̀ send NDLEA. As for police, mo bá yín authenticate gbogbo fídíò táwọn ọ̀rẹ́ Mohbad gbé jáde. Àwọn Zlatan release fídíò tán lù wọ́n ní video shoot. Oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló ṣẹlẹ̀. gbogbo video shoot yẹn tí Zlatan àti Mohbad jókòó sórí wheelchair tí àwọn thugs Sam Larry wá lu Mohbad gbogbo yẹn how did he end ṣebí gbogbo wọn lọ jàmàlà after ni but Nigerians feel pé olu wọ́n jàmàlà after nǹkan tẹ́nìkan kò ṣe show up nìyẹn ní invitation nígbà tí Mohbad file invitation tó ní kí ló dé tí Sam Larry ṣe máa attack òun ta ló ń ran ó mention orúkọ Ọba Elégùṣì dẹ̀ clear rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú statement Ọba Elégùṣì arrest àwọn tán defame wọ́n lọ trial mi ìmọ̀ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú trial yẹn àwọn èèyàn drag oríṣiríṣi èèyàn sí kéèsì but at the end of the day nígbà tí ma ṣe investigation tèmi tí mo bá yín authenticate gbogbo pieces of footage ta make sure pé everything was right ẹlẹ́yìn ṣe investigation at least gbogbo àwọn tó máa wà ní investigation what happened out of it nothing happened gbàtọ́ di September October November 38th mo wá gbé report tèmi jáde mo send ẹ̀ sí CP owó ń há wọ́n ní CP ti retire ó ti lọ sí Interpol DCP Waheed Ayilara ló sọ yẹn fún mi DCP Waheed Ayilara ló wà in charge of homicide case l'America homicide detective la máa ń pè wọ́n mo dẹ̀ send ẹ̀ sí wọn Ayilara rí nǹkan tí mo ṣe mo dẹ̀ tweet mo ní Wunmi ló pa Mohbad ta ló máa ń tweet bẹ́yìn out of the chest Wunmi kí Mohbad about 6 or 7 times mo wá gbé tweet wá sórí Instagram block me from monetization for 3 months mo jẹ ìyà nítorí Wunmi àti nítorí àwọn tó pa Mohbad after 3 months ẹ wà over kò sẹ́ni tó ṣe nǹkan kan mọ́ ẹlẹ́gbẹ́ toxicology tẹ̀ lọ sí America gbé nǹkan kan lọ sí America mo sọ fáwọn èèyàn gbà tó di early March May ẹnìkan lọ gbé toxicology test kan fún cable NG online newspaper àwọn bá release at autopsy mo lọ sórí Daddy Freeze mo ní this is fake kò lè jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ toxicology test ń show àwọn oògùn tó ń market ní Nàìjíríà diphenhydramine injection ta ló fún ní diphenhydramine injection acetaminophen paracetamol àti ìwà pé yẹn ní version ní Nàìjíríà but fún èèyàn tó wà lábẹ́ ilẹ̀ for 7 days kò lè ṣẹlẹ̀ àwọn drugs ní half life na pharmacist ni mí after 7 days exhume èèyàn ẹ wá rí àwọn drugs kan nínú system ẹ tó wà lábẹ́ ilẹ̀ tí ó hot soil ants bugs everything mo sọ lórí Daddy Freeze àwọn èèyàn bú mo dẹ̀ ní kíní is fake later on around August ẹ tún wá gbé tuntun jáde ẹ ní ẹ ti get toxicology test ẹ máa release it soon it is now December announcement I made in August is to say that I was right on Daddy Freeze all along ibo ni correct autopsy wa ibo ni correct toxicology test wa a few months ago DCP Ayilara died yóò bá Ayilara sọ̀rọ̀ rí in person email ni mo ti bá sọ̀rọ̀ àbí DM but wọ́n leak email Ayilara sí mi kó tó kú Kemi Olunloyo is the best investigative journalist in this country she has solved the case ẹ má parọ́ fún mi o Nigerian police when somebody dies they empty desk wọn jáde ẹ kó gbé irun wọn dànù tó bá lọ sọ́dọ̀ family lọ sọ́dọ̀ family Ayilara kọ sínú email ipe mo ti solve case she is possibly the best investigative journalist in the same email ó sọ pé Ìyábọ̀ ló ní amẹ̀bọ àti gist lover òun àti tonto òun á leak email yẹn sẹ́mi èmi sọ fún àwọn èèyàn toxicology test yín dà autopsy yín dà ẹ lè máa release toxicology test September kọ́lé announce yẹn ni it was in September or August ó tún ti di 3 months àti wọ December àmà tí wọ 2025 Mohbad ṣì wà ní mortuary how many times mo tweet mo parí investigation again on September 11th 1 year anniversary mo close ẹ mo dey conclude pé Wunmi ló pa Mohbad pé kó lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ ọlọ́pàá kó lọ file manslaughter mo ti so many times tẹ́ bá ń jà ní tí accident wá ṣẹlẹ̀ tó wá lọ gún ọkọ ẹ̀ manslaughter nìyẹn ló gba manslaughter kó ṣe 3 years in prison wọ́n ló ti lóyún sìn everything all planned ìjà tó ń jà was because of ọmọ ìjà tó ń jà ní mọ́tò Mohbad ò believe pé òun lòun bí ọmọ yẹn ọmọ yẹn dẹ̀ ní telegony symptoms mo sọ fún yín telegony ní téèyàn bá lóyún tọmọ wa lọ jọkọ náà sexual partner ó lè lọ jọkọ ṣé bí DNA ló máa clear telegony Wunmi refuse DNA gbogbo yín wá èdè àbẹ́ẹ̀tẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ get away with murder ọlọ́run bàbá lókè Nigerian police update wa o. So, Dr. Kemi Lawrence lorúkọ mi. Some of you know me as my Lawrence, and I just did a Yoruba version of the Mohbad update. I'm going to do an English version now so that you can all understand where I'm coming from. I got a message on September 12th of 2023 from someone in the industry telling me that Mohbad had died. The person went on to tell me that he had a fight with his wife on the staircase, and some of the railing on the staircase broke and they became pieces of weapons, and he was stabbed by his wife. There were at least 14 people living in Mohbad's house, and that was one of the eyewitnesses. In journalism, you protect the source, which I did. I have given you guys a whole lot of information and facts about this case as an investigative journalist. No one should doubt my work, okay? Nobody should doubt my work. I solved 13 murders in Toronto, Canada, and you heard what the Toronto police and Peel police said. Okay, if I can do that as an investigative journalist, I can solve any murder. At the end of the day, what happened outside Mohbad's house with all the people waiting outside crying when the nurse arrived? Mohbad was already dead by the time the nurse arrived. Look at how the inquest has been ridiculed. By the way, if you guys understand Yoruba and you listen to the Yoruba version, you must listen to the English version because I'm going to add a little bit more here. Today is December 6, 2024, and it's Friday afternoon in Nigeria. Now, what I'm basically saying now is that the way this case has been ridiculed and abandoned and rigged with all kinds of lies is phenomenal. For example, look at the autopsy and the toxicology test. Why send a toxicology test to the United States when somebody died here and there could be many places you could do that? They moved it over there, and then they took some of Mohbad's fans on a, I don't know whether to call it a helter-skelter or a hide-and-seek, where some of them went to the lab in America listed on a fake toxicology report that was released sometimes around May on Cable NG. I went on Daddy Freeze, and I said on that Daddy Freeze show that this tox test is fake. Looking at the drugs they found in Mohbad's system, diphenhydramine injection is now marketed as injection in Nigeria, as well as acetaminophen, which is paracetamol, in Mohbad's system after 7 days. Those drugs have what they call a half-life, the time for drugs to disintegrate in the body. When you bury somebody for 7 days and then exhume them, some of these drugs have gone. They're not supposed to be showing in any kind of toxicology test. I was right, because somewhere in the fall, I believe it could be August or September, the Lagos state government announced that they're getting ready to announce Mohbad's toxicology test that it has now arrived from America, twisting everything and making Nigerians like, wait a minute, what was that other toxicology test we saw? So that wasn't even real. And it was posted by a major news platform. There's a lot of distortion in this case. In September, for 2 weeks, I helped the NDLEA, the Nigerian police, and any other, even the DSS agencies, to kind of sort out what needs to be investigated here. Didn't tell anybody, it's not anyone's business. In the DM, a lot went on. Okay, the NDLA had to clear themselves because they didn't poison Mohbad, according to Tonto Dike and Yabojo, who literally defamed them. They were almost arrested by the DSS. At the end of the day, Chairman Mara put his stand and they wrote a letter that Mohbad was not even arrested during the raid. He got away, but he had to go to rehab and do all the, he had to turn himself in and do all the requirements. I have been on this case forever. When Naira Marley was fighting Mohbad in October of 2022 online, I was the only person that intervened in that fight. Many of you kept quiet in the industry. Till today, the industry is quiet. Tiwa Savage, Chike that he did a song with, almost everybody, Soso Berekon and even Cubana Chief Priest, none of them have actually called or visited Mohbad's father on a condolence visit. Now, I will say that based on the fact that I interviewed Mohbad's father. They could have done it after my interview, but what I know is that they didn't do it, and it was almost a year. A year came by, the anniversary was done. There was a lot of shenanigans going on about the case with the mother, sister-in-law, and everyone. The mother did an interview with Punch. Karima does a live video every day on TikTok, collecting tons and tons of money because TikTok is monetized in America. At the end of the day, Karima said something on her last video that the Nigerian police has been heavily bribed not to arrest Wunmi and Darusha. She said that on a live video. Wunmi and Darusha are the ones behind the death. That's what she said. Now, Darusha said he embalmed the body. Darusha said he cut the hair with somebody. There was a lot Darusha said. And then he turned around and said he was not the embalmer because the police interrogated him on that. After the police had closed the case and moved it to the DPP, Director of Public Prosecutions, they told Iyabo Ojo that she's no longer wanted, that the case is no longer in their hands. They were getting irritated with Iyabo. But most importantly, as of recently, I would say around October, I got a email that was forwarded to me that came from DCP Ayilara. Ayilara has since passed away. He was the head of the homicide Akmansi. DCP Ayilara mentioned in the email, it was an authentic email by the way, he mentioned in the email that Kemi Olunloyo has solved the case. That's what he said. And she's possibly the best investigative journalist in this country. I don't know who's the best one in this country. I love Fisayo Shoyombo. He's a great, great, great person. But I'm not for the competition. Okay, I will be 31 years in this profession and I solved 13 murders in Toronto, Canada. Something the Toronto police commended me for in major newspapers. Okay, I'm not really for the trophies and the best, but I'm for justice for the people. Even though I'm not an activist, I don't activate. I'm not an activist as in, I'm not a human rights activist. The only activism I'm involved in is gun violence and drug abuse. So the people doing justice for Mohbad, the basic bottom line, I can't join that group only because I'm a journalist. You don't drag journalists into stories. However, investigating the cases and what Ayilara said in the email, it shocked me. He also mentioned that Iyabo and Tonto were running Gistlover. We already know that. And, you know, calling me the best, possibly the best investigative journalist in Nigeria, and I've solved the case. I know I solved the case. I tweeted 3 times that Wunmi killed Mohbad. And I tweeted it to my chest. Okay, I know I'm not in the country, but if I were in the country, they might have tried to invite me or arrest me or something, but I don't give a damn about that. I'm not in Nigeria. I've left now 2 years. Okay, but I'm investigating that case. I spent a lot of money on that case, all my monetization revenue from all my 5 platforms. You see, when you do that, you want to put your money into something and invest it. Okay, and most people want a break-even point. I wasn't looking for a break-even point. 10,200, almost 4 months of monetization on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything. I used that money, and it was a lot of work I had to do. There were 4 interns, and I would send them from their houses in Aja and Songoteru to go to Ikorodu. Just one trip on the Uber is 25,000. From Ikorodu to Songoteru, traffic and everything. Imagine, 2 days, 50,000. It added up. Then we have to file the stories. We have to file the stories. I have to do. Dr. Kemi Lawrence, investigative journalist. 2 months, local to finally retire. More retire 2019, more retire 2024 for 8 months. And February 9th, 1994, I'm signing out at February 9th, 2025. Mulo rests. Mulo take care of my health, and I'm going to spend time with my children. Mo fẹ́ share video because mo fẹ́ understand how the system works. And I think the Director of Public Prosecutions in Lagos State Government needs to be watching this. Situation Mohbad, it goes in stages. Once the inquest baton, inquest has so enter are responsible for Ikuomo. Inquest in Nigeria man fall apart. Okay? All inquests fall apart. I'm going to try and do this in Yoruba English so that everybody will understand in English and Yoruba. Inquests in Nigeria usually falls apart because of the stupid lawyers that are ordering and directing the inquest. Femi Falana is one of them. The Romani inquest fell apart to a point. However, you have to understand how the system works in Nigeria. It's very different from America, but it's very, very similar in some areas. Tani case yẹn máa lọ bá tó bá ti parí inquest wọ́n máa determine nǹkan tó pọ̀ mọ́. Nínú case ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ni wọ́n ní bàbá àti doctor ní negligence. She boy arrest baba as the doctor, arrest one. She go, nothing happened. Iya Romani ku, It's like nothing's ever organized in Nigeria. Olowo billionaire and Ejeka File Omo Ezikuko need cash frustrated. You guys don't do stuff the way you should do it. Nínú case Mohbad, nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni. Tó má ti ṣe inquest on, ó máa sọ nǹkan tó pa Mohbad. Tó má ti sọ nǹkan tó pa Mohbad, ó máa make arrests. Tó má make arrests. Then case yẹn máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ GPP. Meanwhile, ọlọ́pàá ń sọ fún àwọn èèyàn ìpè case kúrò lọ́dọ̀ àwọn ó ti wà lọ́dọ̀ GPP. In other words, the Nigerian police actually said that the case has left their hands and is now with the GPP. The GPP is the Director of Public Prosecution. The Director of Public Prosecution is now supposed to prosecute the case. GPP prosecute the case. No, that will enter arrest, lama trial at the So trial will start. But we cannot go to the DPP and start a trial until we know what killed Mohbad. And we're in that stage where we can't find out what killed Mohbad because people are stalling this whole thing. For example, what did that judge say in September, the anniversary of Mohbad's death? People went to protest outside. Mr. Yomi Fabi took people out there, which was really kind of him, to keep giving the case more awareness. That's one day. Inquest ni ọjọ́ yẹn. Judge ní òun máa fún àwọn tí ó wà wá sí court ní arrest warrants. Torí èèyàn púpọ̀ wá sí court lọ́jọ́ yẹn. Darusha wá, Prime Boy wá, Wunmi ò wá. So, in other words, for the non-Yoruba speakers, the judge said she's going to order arrest warrants for whoever doesn't come to court after that September 12th hearing, or 11th. Was it 11th? This is how it's done in America. If you don't come to court, there will be a court warrant, a bench warrant for you. She specifically said that. So when that court hearing came, it's like no one showed up. Darusha came, Prime Boy came. Prime Boy was always there. Okay? Because he has to clear his own name. The police defamed him. He must not let that go. Police defame Prime Boy. Ṣé mo kàn tí mo mean by defame? Wọ́n borúkọ Prime Boy jẹ́. Wọ́n bà yé ọmọ yẹn jẹ́. Ọmọ yẹn dẹ̀ try láti carve out life ẹ̀ padà. Because wọ́n mú as wanted kìnnìkan. Wọ́n pin ẹ̀ pé òun ló pa Mohbad. Kó ṣe kọ́kọ́ náà. Ṣé bọ́ọ̀ náà gbàgbé sí club àbí tán ti ṣe ayẹyẹ? Tí o bá ń ṣe Cubana chief priest, kò ní sí níbi tó wà at the right time. Wọ́n gbé báàgì ẹ̀ lọ Mohbad mi gbogbo wọn. Ó miss ride yẹn now. Kò bá wọn délé. In other words, what I'm saying is that Prime Boy never even got to the house with them because they left him. They drove away accidentally. His bag was in the car and he wanted his bag. He wanted to come get the bag, but Wunmi wouldn't let him come to the house because Wunmi had killed Mohbad. So, everybody did not show up. Let me tell you who did not show up. Sam Larry did not show up. Naira Marley did not show up. The nurse did not show up. Wherever she is, Kutonu or Nigeria, she didn't show up. Wunmi didn't show up. People are not showing up. And this judge did not issue the bench warrant. Ibi tí wàhálà mi wà nìyẹn. Ẹ̀yin tí wá gbọ́ Yorùbá, ibi tí wàhálà mi wà nìyẹn. Àwọn tí ó bá show up, ó lóun máa arrest gbọ́n kò arrest ẹni kankan. Kò sí arrest warrant. So because of that, everything is on a standstill. Meanwhile, Baba Mohbad, hire public investigator, or he was trying to hire one. Wọ́n send gbogbo toxicology Mohbad tí wọ́n send lọ sí UK, I believe, or somewhere in Europe. Taiwo Dumosu, the lawyer that's handling Baba Mohbad, I don't know if he's still there now. Òun ló facilitate gbogbo eléyìí. So tí results tí wọ́n bá dé, wọ́n compare multi-state. However, nǹkan tó release, 30 states to release there is fake. Now state one, okay, we're finally going to release it. That October. Kí ló stop yín? But nǹkan tí Taiwo Dumosu sọ, lawyer Baba Mohbad, ní pé àwọn already got to investigate case from top to toe. Báwọn lọ sí areas of Nigeria, northern Nigeria, northeast towards that Borno, wọ́n lọ wá oríṣiríṣi investigators ńbẹ̀. But all those investigators had the same thing to say. One, this case is manipulated and controlled by powerful forces that won't get involved in. Imagine, you know those northern Nigerian private investigators, those ones that used to be in SARS, those really deep police kind of detectives. They didn't want to take the case because they said there are powerful forces behind that case. They knew the powerful forces. I heard that one investigator said, as hard as I am as an investigator, I love my family and I don't want anything to happen to me. ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń control Nigeria, tẹ́ ń control Wunmi, tí Wunmi pa Mohbad, they control it forever. These things can, they cannot sit forever. Whatever you sow, you will reap. Kung pa Mohbad lásán, they hide the murderer. Everybody's scared. That's why no investigative journalist even touch this case. Èmi tí mo touch, mo flee Nigeria nítorí case ọ̀rọ̀ money tó lọ leak number mi, phone number, tó threaten me gbogbo ẹ̀. I left Nigeria for the people. Ṣẹlẹ̀ tí ń gbádùn Nigeria ń sìn. It's not in shambles. Ṣé ti gbádùn, ṣé ti lọ róúnjẹ lẹ́nìí, ẹ ti ra bag of rice, bag of beans. Nigeria is not in shambles. The video come parọ́ ni now. So enjoy ara yín. All you know is sitting on social media abusing people, abusing Kemi, abusing everybody. Kí ló mú Karimo sọ lórí live? Ipe wọ́n ti pay ọlọ́pàá heavily. Ipe Wunmi àti Darusha ti pay ọlọ́pàá heavily. Kí ló mú sọ? In every nonsense there's sense. Ṣé bí kò tó ṣe pé nonsense nìyẹn? Èèyàn náà ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe bí sense nìyẹn. Judicial terrorism. I was just talking about that. In the way they're treating Nnamdi Kanu in the prison. At the end of the day, is this not judicial terrorism? An inquest judge cannot even issue arrest warrants for people to come to court. The nurse didn't bother because the nurse knows the truth that Mohbad was already dead before she got there. People were crying outside. The neighbors of that house told me this. 2 neighbors I interviewed secretly. So she just went there for nothing. Although the implication Yabo Joe was there, one pay, one she will pay. Hey, mo bẹ ṣe máa gbé kéèsì o. Mo bẹ ṣe máa gbé kéèsì o. Mi ò mọ wọ́n ní Wunmi sí lórí fẹ́nìkan and everything. At the end of the day, I don't care. That's not my problem. My problem is that she needs to be arrested. And this case needs to go to the DPP and prosecuted. And this inquest needs to come. Inquest is just a way to slow off stuff. Mr. Ayilatiku, DCP Ayilatiku, he took a lot of that case to the grave. But one thing I can say is that Otisoni no email. Kemi Olunloyo is possibly the best investigative journalist in this country. She has solved the case. November 30.